What was that like? That the very first time you went into the World's Strongest Man and you won it.
So for me, it was
Set the stage for us. And
Where was this, by the way? I'm admiring the shirt. Why don't I have a shirt like that?
I don't. You need, are not given.
I'll get you one, man. I'll get you one.
And you guys, there's so many similarities. You got 4 Mr. Olympias, 4 World's Strongest Mans. How many Arnolds did you win?
Yeah, but he's still
How many
going,
Arnolds did you
bro.
win?
3.
How many Arnolds did you win?
3. Yep.
No way.
That's nuts, man. Yeah.
That's why I told you guys are so similar and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah. But so 2011 was the first one that I won.
Okay.
For me,
Where was this?
That was Wingate University, North Carolina.
Okay.
They held it in 2011. But for me, 2010 I tied. So it's the only time in history World's Strongest Man ended in a tie ever, right? So it's like one of these things. And in that contest, in the very first event of the contest, we had to do this loading race through water, which was horrible. And we had to carry these sandbags through this water. But like, if you've ever tried to run through water, no, it's a nightmare. And trying to carry, it was brutal. So just to train for that event, like this is the hard work part of it. Like I found a golf course that I could go to and they had a pond. And so I would take a loading platform out to their pond and I would drag the kegs, but it was like probably 200 plus yards to get to the pond from where you had to park. So I had to like drag all this stuff in there every week and then set up this platform. Then I'd run through the water, like carrying the stuff. So I was ready for it. I'll say I was ready for it. And so I went in and like with this race, I got to the third bag and I'm going into the platform and your legs, everything's burning and you're just like, all right, I got to finish. And I got there and because so much water had got in the bag and they filled it with rocks. So it was like a water,
water
so
lava.
it didn't just stay in place like a normal sandbag would. So I threw it on the platform and all the water kind of shifted and the bag ended up falling off. Oh. So I had first place locked up. I would have won that event. And I had to pick it up out of the water again and reload it. So I dropped to third place on that event, which cost me 2 points, which would have been my 5th title, had I got it done, whatever. There's a lot of other spots in that contest that I could have earned a point or half a point or whatever. Believe me, I've looked at all of it. But,
sure.
It's kind of like one of those things where I ended in the tie, ended up losing on a count back, which, is that was in South Africa. It was like a 16-hour plane ride back to Atlanta. And I didn't sleep for a second. And I was just like, that kind of set the stage for me at that moment because there's a lot of guys in history that have come this close to winning World's Strongest Man and they never got it done. Right. So I was like, I'm not going to be one of those guys.
It's like bodybuilding.
I was going to say, this is like you in 01.
Yeah.
So you were this close.
So that's, it's like I was like, I'm bound and determined to set that. So, and this is where like I say be great a lot. And that's where that moment happened for me on that plane ride. I was like, all right, Brian, what are you trying to do? Like ultimately, what's your goal with this? And, with everything that you put all this hard work in, you came that close, you tied, got second place. Like where is this going for me? So I had that kind of epiphany or whatever. And I was like, I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be great at strongman. I'm trying to be great at life. I'm trying to be great at all these things. So I went back and I got this piece of wood and I was training in this at that time it was a grocery store. It was like a out of business grocery store that I was training in the storage room of. And I went back and wrote on this piece of wood, be great in all capital letters. And I put it up on the wall. And that's where like my whole thing, now it's kind of morphed into, trying to show other people how they can be great in different things. But that was that moment. So that year, I just went back to work. And so in 2011, then people said at that point I couldn't win the Arnold because I was just athletic and I wasn't strong enough and whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm bound and determined to show you right now what's going to happen. And so I went in and won the Arnold very comfortably in 2011. And then won World's Strongest Man. I won every other contest in that year. Like it was just like
what was your age then?
So I would have been in 2011. I guess it would have been about like 28, 29, 30. Like I don't think I was 30. I was maybe 28, 29. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Very similar to.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
So it just kind of set the stage. But it's like looking back.
So
then,
when you went into that World's Strongest Man on day one, were you like, I'm winning this? There's nobody's going to beat me.